fantasy footballers.
You can't stop the run. Woo!
I tried. Dang it.
Professional.
Wow.
Very nice, Mike. Very,
If
very
my
nice.
eyes were open, I would have caught it.
Welcome to the show after the show. I tried to throw a bottle at Mike. Well, I didn't try. I did.
That's correct.
Yeah, you succeeded in
I
that
did
part.
throw a bottle at Mike, and he was unflappable.
So in the
If you hadn't been
replay
working out recently, that might have got you.
in my mind, so he's eyes closed, it hits him on the shoulder. I know my reaction, I would have been like, ah!
Yep.
Generally speaking, I am easily
Frightenable or
startable. Which I know, that's why I paused
startable?
because it didn't seem to make sense. But I startle.
Afraid of small bugs, not afraid of bottles.
I startle extremely easy until like the point of where it may not look like I've done a huge reaction, but I will whiplash and throw my neck out for days.
Yes.
If someone gets me with a good spook.
Oh,
But
so
I almost killed you.
challenge accepted.
but when I'm in the zone, yeah, I guess
Can't stop the rock. Welcome to the show after the show. Andy, Mike, Jason. Brooks is over there. How you doing, Brooks?
I'm great.
All right, that's
here.
good. That's good.
I'm here.
We're talking about the Las Vegas Raiders, the third NFL team to relocate in the past, 2 years? 3 years? So what are the thoughts on this transition? We've talked about it a little bit around the studio. I don't think it's good for the NFL when any team moves. You know,
I agree.
I have
with that.
many thoughts.
the NFL is we talked about this about Arizona. Like the Cardinals probably wouldn't be here if they hadn't secured the stadium in Glendale, and that was a big deal, and that changed the whole franchise. And obviously, it's all about stadiums. You know,
But
these
then
teams
again,
relocate because of stadiums.
That's true, but the reality is the Cardinals were bad and would still, like, if they had stayed here in Tempe, they
They'd be
would have
bad.
stayed bad because they
Yes.
didn't spend money because they weren't making revenue.
Yes.
So, I mean, those things actually matter for the quality of the product for a team. Granted, I would rather have a bad Cardinals franchise here than none, but basically what I'm saying is cities, vote for your new stadiums.
See,
Just get it done.
But that's a tough pill to
yes.
swallow. There are a lot of things that are needed in many of these cities, and it's hard to
And
justify.
football is there.
It's hard to justify subsidizing sports for some cities. Like I get that argument. You know what I mean? Like I do think it's valuable. I do think it's valuable to a city's identity and to their economy and everything about that. But at what point, you know, Mark Davis is a cheap owner.
He gets $5 haircuts, man.
yeah, those are not $5.
Those are the wife.
That's $2.99.
Oh man,
Are you out of your mind?
I'm with Andy that it's. I used to be just like, oh man, you got to vote for the stadium. But when you, in my face, I am looking at the average NFL franchise is worth $2.3 billion, and you're telling us that the taxpayers need to buy you a new stadium.
That's a tough thing.
That's fair.
You can make billions of dollars. I mean, that's just it's an impossible situation because if you don't, then the NFL goes, fine, we're going to take our ball.
Somebody will.
And we're going home.
Somebody will.
Because somebody will.
Yeah, and you can make arguments. You know, you bring a Super Bowl. Obviously, a Super Bowl is going to land in, well, maybe Vegas would be the one.
It will be.
Vegas would be the one place
They're gonna
where it's more of
burn
a
it
debate.
down.
But look, that brings a lot of money to the local area, a lot of attention.
I actually heard.
Have you ever heard of Las Vegas before this? No, nobody's ever heard of it.
The numbers on when Arizona hosted it the second time, so the first time in the new stadium, we lost money.
I think that's common
It's
for
just-
cities. They talk beforehand about how much revenue it brings in, but overall,
So I mean, like local businesses are going to pull in; they're going to get a nice spike, but the city as a whole loses money.
Yeah,
That's a
I
fair
mean,
trade, though.
I've heard that, and they say it's a long game, though. No, I'm serious.
Sure,
you
maybe.
may lose money in the very interim time, but the long economic gains are still projected as higher.
the Super Bowl will go to Vegas at some point when they build that new
It
stadium.
has to.
And that will be the end of Las Vegas. I mean,
end
that
of the world.
I can't even imagine teams in the like championship round. They're going to be like, well, if I lose, I get to go to Vegas and
I don't have to focus on the game.
It's not just the teams. Just I mean, there are certain leniencies allowed in the city of Las Vegas that are not allowed in other places.
Yeah, we are in Arizona right now, where the coaches and the teams and owners are meeting, and right now the coaches are already discussing, even though obviously they're not moving there this year, but they're discussing how they're going to deal with travel plans and make sure they're staying far away from the Strip and things like that. Like when they go, that's an issue.
That's exactly my point was going to be, is if the league owners vote for relocation to Las Vegas, it completely strips them of any ability to not endorse everything that takes place with a franchise in Las Vegas. You have to embrace a Super Bowl there. You have to embrace everything that comes with putting a franchise there. You cannot say, yes, we'll relocate you so that you make more money and we do revenue sharing, but we won't allow this, that, and the other thing.
Don't bet on the games.
Don't bet. I mean,
well, they'll
it's
still
just,
say that.
I think it's
they
a
are. They are saying that.
The trajectory for sports betting and legalization, with how Silver treats it in the NFL, in the NBA, and how this has transitioned now, allowing a team to go into Las Vegas in the 29th largest market in the United States.
Yeah, 29th.
So very interesting. Very interesting. I feel bad for Oakland fans.
Yes.
Can't imagine losing my team, but we got friends that lost the Chargers recently.
At least here's the difference that I see between the Rams and the Chargers and the Raiders, especially when you look at like polling of okay, what are you going to do, fans of this team? Are you going to support them? Are you going to find a new team? When it comes to the St. Louis Rams and the San Diego Chargers, the vast overwhelming majority was, they might look for a new team. They're really upset. The Raiders are not that way. The majority say they're sticking with the Raiders and with Raider Nation. But I think part of the reason for that is because Raider fans are everywhere.
Yeah.
There's not as many
The team
Charger
has been
fans.
everywhere.
Yeah, I know.
It's like if Dallas moved.
Exactly.
There's Dallas fans all over the country. That it's not really about living in Dallas.
Right. It's not about Oakland. It's about the Raiders. And so, whereas Chargers.
Now, are their fans still going to beat me up if I'm in Las Vegas?
Well, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Just making sure.
And that's my other thing is I have long-term concerns for just a sports franchise in Las Vegas. Will people go out? Yes. When it first opens, of course, that thing's going to be packed. It's going to be sold out. And we have a kind of a difference of opinion here. Las Vegas, it's transplants, right? I mean, these are people. It's similar to Phoenix, where that's why it can be so difficult for the Cardinals. And at the beginning, for the Cardinals, you were always outnumbered.
You're in a home game
by
for
the opposition.
someone else.
It still happens when you go. And the Cardinals have been good for the last couple of years. You'll still go to games like Raider games and
Dallas
and Cowboy games, and you can be drowned out by the other team's fan base. But will a local base in Las Vegas truly support that team for the long term?
Right, and I believe they will, but I get the arguments. Well, it'll be interesting. That new stadium will have a lot of power. The stadium will do a lot for the longevity of that franchise. We'll see.
They are very, very lucky that the Raiders are good and on a trajectory to be good for a while with Derek Carr.
That's a really good point. All right, we're going to wrap it up. The show. That is it for today. Make sure you tune into the podcast. We just did our early running back rankings over there, thefantasyfootballers.com. Thanks for tuning in. Share your comments and your thoughts below. Subscribe on YouTube, and we'll be back on Thursday.
Goodbye.